In the summer of 2025, one of the internet's most powerful fitness empires collapsed in a single week. Not from scandal, not from competition, but from something far more primal, the ancient hunger for truth.
Like Critical says, I make shit. This is what he says on all of his platforms, I make shit. Make shit, when you create and you build, there's this endogenous satisfaction.
Brian Johnson didn't just eat raw meat, he devoured the internet. By 2022, the man they called Liver King commanded an audience of 20 million followers across platforms.
A bunch of primals keep asking if Liver King is natty or not. I decided to really face this head on and show you my stack. I stack liver and bone marrow every day. I stack the sun and the earth every day. I stack blood-burning workouts twice a day, every day.
His message was seductively simple. Modern life had made us weak. The solution: live like your ancestors. Wake at dawn, eat organ meat, lift heavy things, sleep on the ground. 9 ancestral tenets that promised to transform soft, civilized humans back into apex predators. But Brian Johnson wasn't selling lifestyle advice. He was selling mythology. From his $1 million Texas compound, Johnson made the perfect modern caveman. Beard sculpted to primal perfection, physique that defied human genetics, a body that screamed one message: this works. But not everyone was convinced. Among the skeptics was a podcaster with the largest audience in the world, Joe Rogan, and he was already taking notes. Johnson's story began in San Antonio, where tragedy struck early. His father died when he was just a baby, leaving behind a small, undersized kid who faced bullies every day. But that vulnerable boy would eventually transform himself into something that seemed superhuman. In 2023, Brian Johnson claimed that his net worth was $310 million. His supplement empire alone generated tens of millions. 20,000 people bought his organ meat supplements monthly. Tens of thousands more attempted his brutal workouts. Hundreds of thousands changed their diets entirely. The Liver King wasn't just another fitness influencer. He was a phenomenon. His philosophy tapped into something primal in modern humans, a deep dissatisfaction with civilized life. Office workers dreamed of trading their cubicles for his compound. Suburban dads bought his supplements, hoping to unlock their inner savage. The marketing was actually brilliant. Johnson understood that people don't just buy products, they buy identities. Every jar of desiccated liver wasn't just a supplement, it was a ticket to transformation. But Johnson had built his empire on more than just marketing genius. He'd constructed something far more dangerous: perfect believability. His physique was the ultimate proof of concept. Raw, vascular, impossibly dense muscle that seemed to validate every wild claim about ancestral living. The problem with building mythology around your own body is simple. Bodies don't lie forever. And in late 2022, someone started asking the right questions. Derek wasn't impressed by theatrical displays of masculinity. As a bodybuilding analyst with deep knowledge of performance enhancement, Derek possessed something dangerous to the Liver King empire: expertise.
If you want to be a top king, if you want unlimited access to cars, money, and if you want to find your queen, then you have to fuel your efforts with ancestral supplements, liver, beef organs, and bone marrow with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because liver is king. And you already know, with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, always gonna have a whole feast protein.
While millions of followers saw inspiration, Derek saw inconsistencies, muscle density that couldn't be achieved through organ meat and cold exposure, vascular definition that suggested pharmaceutical intervention, recovery rates that defied natural human biology.
So, again, for the record, I've never taken steroids.
Really?
I'm thinking about doing it.
Derek began documenting these anomalies with scientific precision. He broke down Liver King's physique using analytical tools that stripped away the mystique, revealing patterns that suggested chemical enhancement.
Him portraying the explosion of his polarizing brand as something he, never wanted to do, didn't intend to do for financial reasons at all, is perceived to be deceitful by many.
The fitness community was divided. Johnson's followers dismissed Derek as a jealous competitor, but those familiar with performance-enhancing drugs recognized the signs. The debate raged across social platforms, generating millions of views and endless speculation. Then came November 2022, and with it, the breakthrough that would detonate everything. An email, one single leaked communication that would obliterate a $100 million mythology in minutes. The contents were devastating. Detailed steroid protocols, growth hormone schedules, a pharmaceutical shopping list worth over $10,000 monthly. The same man who preached that ancestral living could build superhuman physiques was chemically enhanced beyond recognition. For Johnson's followers, it wasn't just a leak. It was a betrayal, and for Rogan, it was confirmation of everything he'd suspected. The email wasn't just evidence of deception. This was a roadmap of systematic fraud. Derek from More Plates, More Dates broke the story, sharing the private emails that allegedly revealed Liver King's complete steroid cycle. The internet erupted. Years of preaching about natural transformation were obliterated by pharmaceutical evidence. On December 2nd, 2022, Liver King finally confessed.
Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician.
In the emails, Johnson allegedly said he was spending about $11,000 US, $16,400 a month on steroids. The internet wasn't buying the excuse. Followers felt betrayed by someone they trusted with their health and finances. Competitors smelled blood in the water. Johnson himself admitted he expected the steroid confession to hurt his supplement company revenue. The Primal King's credibility was hemorrhaging faster than he could repair it. But Brian Johnson had underestimated the lasting power of his deception. He thought apologizing would contain the damage. Instead, it had attracted the attention of someone far more dangerous than angry customers. Someone who made a career of exposing frauds on the world's largest platform. Joe Rogan had been watching the Liver King phenomenon with growing skepticism. The host of the world's most influential podcast had built his reputation on authentic conversation and ruthless questioning. He despised performance theater, especially when it involved health and fitness claims. Liver King represented everything Rogan stood against in modern media culture.
I think that bloke that eats the raw.
No, that's a gimmick, that guy.
It just looks ridiculous. He's got a
something.
plate of hearts and it just looks weird.
He's got an ass filled with steroids is what he's got.
Yeah, he should have a big
that is
plate of
not-
steroids next to it.
That is not a natural body.
Of course it's not.
That guy is shooting all kinds of shit into his system to achieve that kind of physique.
For months before the steroid confession, Rogan had been dropping subtle warnings, comments about fake natty influencers who deceived their audiences, observations about physiques that seemed impossible without chemical assistance. The confession should have ended the story. Johnson admitted deception, apologized, and claimed he was transitioning to natural training. But his strategy revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of modern media dynamics. Joe Rogan doesn't forget, and he doesn't forgive fraud. Passive-aggressive Instagram stories about keyboard warriors and haters who never built anything. Subtle references to podcasters who talked more than they trained. The posts felt defensive, desperate. And then, in the summer of 2025, desperation transformed into something far more dangerous.
Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable.
Johnson seemed to believe that challenging Rogan to physical combat would somehow restore his credibility. Instead, it demonstrated how completely his judgment had deteriorated under pressure. On June 25, 2025, Brian Johnson was arrested in Austin, Texas. The charge, making terroristic threats. The man who'd built an empire on projecting strength was cuffed and processed like any other criminal making threatening statements.
PD says it obtained an arrest warrant for Johnson on a terroristic threat charge. Johnson was found at the Four Seasons Hotel in downtown and taken into custody.
He was released on bond with strict conditions. A restraining order prohibited contact with Rogan. Social media platforms began removing threatening content. Sponsors fled en masse. The business empire that had generated millions monthly collapsed in days. Despite businesses that had been generating $100 million in annual revenue, Johnson's legal troubles and the $25 million lawsuit left him with an estimated net worth of only $1 million. The Primal King had become another cautionary tale about the price of public meltdowns. Johnson had built his identity around being the ultimate primal human. Without that mythology, he was just another middle-aged businessman facing legal consequences for poor decisions. The Netflix documentary that followed painted Johnson as a cautionary tale about digital deception and toxic masculinity, but the story reveals something deeper about modern culture and the price of engineered authenticity. Liver King succeeded because we needed him to. In an age of processed food, sedentary lifestyles, and declining physical health, we craved proof that optimization was possible. We needed someone who'd cracked the code to human potential. Johnson understood something profound about human psychology. We don't just buy products, we buy transformation stories. He was selling the dream that we could become something better than what civilization had made us. Joe Rogan didn't destroy Liver King's career through malice or competition. He did it through something far more powerful: persistent, intelligent questions. In a world of carefully constructed online personas, Rogan's greatest weapon was authentic curiosity and refusal to accept surface-level explanations.
Wasn't surprised at all.
No.
I mean, it seems completely makes sense, but that's exactly what I expected.
Yeah, it seemed like just a matter of time for him.
There's no way you can look like that in your 40s. That jack.
Brian Johnson's downfall reminds us that authentic strength isn't performed for cameras. Real transformation doesn't require costumes, characters, or chemical shortcuts. And sometimes, the most primal thing you can do is tell the truth about your limitations. The king is dead, but the hunger for authentic guidance in health, fitness, and life remains very much alive. In the end, Joe Rogan didn't end Liver King's career. Truth did.